Hey YouTube, Pat with Barely Informative here, and I wanted to do this follow-up video to kind of touch in. I kind of broke them apart here so that we could kind of make them a little more digestible. And I want to talk about, frankly, one of the even more dangerous ideas that Keith and Conquest Church LLC represent. In an interview with the paper, Keith Effler was asked the question, how would you reduce gang violence? What would you do to reduce gang violence in Yakima? And his response was to create a group of volunteers that would pass extreme background checks of some kind that would directly respond to police calls in the city. In essence, he wants to have citizens responding on behalf of police to lower level calls to ensure the police can do everything else. Now on the surface that seems kind of, well, it seems crazy. I'm going to be honest with you. The first thing that came to my mind when I read that were the brown shirts, the Nazi youth. Now Keith doubled down on this idea at a candidates forum a while back, and after the candidates forum was over, I stopped him and I said, Keith, I want to talk to you about your citizen patrol idea. And he said, yeah, sure, that sounds great. So I said, all right, how do you see implementing this idea while avoiding civil rights violations and opening the city up for lawsuits and costing us Lord knows how much money? It was a weighted question, but it's a weighted topic, and so I don't feel bad about that. His response was, oh, well, I guess I never really thought about it. So I said, well, I mean, you can kind of see where I'm coming from. I mean, you have people that are not trained police. They're not directly accountable to the city. Who are they accountable to? Do they get any kind of training? How do we make sure that these people are properly representing the citizens of Yakima? And again, honestly, I hadn't really thought about it. So I said, well, what'd you think about it? I'd like to hear your response. I look forward to that. And then I said to him, I'm going to be honest with you. When I first read that, my first thought was the Gestapo. Now, that was my first thought. I really meant the brown shirts, but that's less of an issue. The Gestapo. I watched the blood drain straight out of his and his wife's face, and his response was, you know, honestly, I don't know. I know they do it in Kittitas, and it works for them, and that's all I know. There's one of two things at play in this in my mind. Either A, Keith Effler promoted vigilantism and corruption and doesn't want to be accountable for that idea, so was trying to play it off. Or Keith Effler literally proposed open sanctioned vigilantism in this city and actually didn't think about the consequences of that. Which would, either one of those things speaks volumes of his qualifications to run and operate as a city councilor. And when you tie this idea into, when you tie this vigilante idea into the Conquest Church bid for dominion over the city of Yakima, you have to wonder, to what extent are these people willing to go to ensure that Christians, and Christians alone, and Christians from Conquest Church alone are represented and cared for in the government of the city of Yakima? If at any point you ever doubted that Keith Effler was capable of everything that has ruined governments in the past, I encourage you to think again. And I also encourage you to think again that it's not just Keith Effler. It's a group of people conspiring to see to a certain outcome that does not benefit the entire city of Yakima. Keith Effler and Conquest Church are a threat to the democracy of the city of Yakima.